Hi,
Hey Dad, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How was your week?
Uh, Pretty busy, and I was still a bit under the weather, but I think I'm
Yeah.
much better. Um, my sale is tomorrow night, so I'm getting nervous about that, although there's nothing really I should be nervous about,
Sure.
but I'll be relieved when it's
So,
over with.
so you were in the city, you went to the city all week or most of the
I
week.
was in the city all week. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh Yeah, I came out on Friday. I came out. I was going to have to work Friday, but then I only worked Friday morning, and I came
Okay,
out.
good.
So I had Friday afternoon out here with Beatrice and Victoria,
Nice. Very
and
nice.
a carrot cake, and it was all
Yes.
good. No, it was
Very
all
nice.
great.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
that's nice.
How was your protest yesterday? Was that
Um,
anti-abortion?
It
Was that
yeah, it was, and it was good. It was big. It was peaceful. It was
good?
yeah, no, it was good. It was there was they at the end there were some youth speakers, and I guess there's going to be a thing on Thursday, a big sort of student-led walkout. Um, but yeah, no, it was very good, and it was um, just good to see a broad coalition of people because one thing that I had so what that was interesting is different factions organized in different places. So the group that I was with was meeting at 1 at the Seattle Central College, but Planned Parenthood and sort of a group around them, they were meeting at 11, and there's this whole thing because Planned Parenthood doesn't like the coat hanger imagery, and so it's
Right.
just interesting to say. Well, it's not interesting. I've been on some of the Zoom calls, including the Seattle local ones and the national ones, and what I've heard come up is a few times is, can't there be more like coalition building? And what I kind of heard from the leadership at both the state and the national level is, yeah, that would be great, but I don't know why it's happening except I mean, I've seen this in other organizations. Organizations vie for funds. Organizations vie for who gets to be the voice of, who gets to be the official spokesperson. When CNN wants a soundbite, who do they come to? They come to Rise Up for Abortion Rights. They go to Planned Parenthood. Do they go? And so, and the same thing happens. In the same, obviously with the Black Lives Matter now, turns out she was buying mansions and whatnot, and that's it's um,
It's a problem. It's a problem for it's a problem for the center and the left, and I mean it's very possible that, awful as it is, the abortion rights issue could galvanize every Democrat and many independents if as an issue that for 80% of women voters, and many Republican could move, could actually mean that the Democrats could hang on to Congress. And
yeah,
if we if we stop fighting over these kind of intramural whatever,
yeah, yeah,
um, I think that I mean, the problem is that the hardcore far right GOP people are absolutely lockstep. I
yes,
mean,
yeah,
they got their issues. They're cut and dried in black and white, and they're just you know,
yeah,
um, and they've got the party by the balls. So, but we don't.
right. No,
I mean,
right,
we
and
we are.
yeah, and no, and I think we talked about this. Um, when when the right looks for someone to blame, they blame the left, which makes sense. When the left looks for someone to blame, they tend to look farther left. They tend to keep looking like, you're
Yeah.
the extremists that are dragging down our party. And it's like, well, yeah, some of us are pretty extreme, and I admit I am as far left as it goes. Um,
Yeah, but that's a blame game, and the fact is that
I mean, the moment the right all got behind Trump, a three-time serial,
yeah,
dating prostitute, all of that it just showed how single voter they are. They will get by it
Yeah.
to get what they, it's they're single issue voters, and it's yeah, it's like you said, it's lockstep.
This could be a single issue. I mean, I think abortion rights could be a single, pro-choice could be a single issue, you
And
know?
I mean, I mean, I mean, it's um obviously other freedoms and rights. I mean, if they're talking about doing away with Griswold and Casey, then you're talking about gay rights and all sorts of
We're
gender.
talking about interracial
Oh no,
marriages.
interracial. I know. No, yeah, I'm
Hey,
laughing.
hey, excuse
Let's.
me.
Yeah, no. I
Let-
said people who are campaigning right now won't confirm that they believe in it. They won't confirm if they were elected governor that's not off the table for people running right now, and they're saying
Everything's
that
on the
out
table.
loud, and they're not. That's not disqualifying. They're still in the race. Yeah, yeah. The interracial I know. I mean, I'm laughing, but it's. I mean, it's. No, and then someone said to me this week. And then next is fetal heartbeat laws, and now you're prosecuting women for murder,
Yeah,
and sometimes for miscarriages, for accidents, for and that's
yeah.
and they don't care. They'll do it. That's they it's an agenda, and it's not. It's about control. It's not about life. They don't care about babies. They don't care about babies the moment they're born. They don't care about schools. They don't care about I mean, except to make sure that there aren't any books that are too gay or too black. But they don't they don't care about funding schools. They don't care
Right.
about.
Well, they don't care. I
They don't care
mean,
about women. Yeah, no, they don't care if women die. Which is, I mean, okay, so in Poland now, apparently, um, Ukrainian refugees who were raped by Russian soldiers are being forced to carry their pregnancies to term
oh,
Poland is
Poland's a Catholic country.
because Poland is a Catholic country. Um, so
Yeah, and apparently in a footnote to this leaked decision, uh, Justice Alito referred to the short supply of babies for adoption in the United States as if this was a kind of a, uh, that the government
we
could
need more
manage
baby.
a
No,
baby
um,
supply.
First of all, our government can't even. We don't even have the supply chain for the infant formula. I mean, people are driving 4 hours for
I
formula
know.
right now. They're not
Yeah.
doing anything about that. They're not. There are people whose infants and they're just saying, again, right wingers, they're just saying, well, just breastfeed. Okay, first of all, there are babies who have dairy intolerance who cannot breastfeed. There are specialized formula. Now there are women who are going to the emergency room to get formula because they can't get the form. I mean, but they don't
Yeah.
care. They don't care. They don't care. I mean, that's obvious. No, Alito, Clarence Thomas thinks that the leak is, and we don't even, again, we've already decided the leak was done by I don't know who did the leak. I don't care. But the leak is what's undermined the confidence in the court. He can't think of anything else that could possibly undermine the confidence in the court. Not his wife, not her fundraising efforts, not his colleagues like Kavanaugh and their illegitimate confirmations and Coney Barrett and
Well, he'll have a problem with voting against interracial marriage, I guess.
well, he doesn't have to because he just has to strike down the federal law that lets the states do it. He doesn't have to. He can just turn a blind eye. He gets to stay married to his crazy wife. Doesn't affect him.
Yeah, it doesn't affect him. This doesn't affect those people. I mean,
Sorry, I'm yelling. Yeah,
that's
no.
okay. So tell me about the after party.
Oh, it was really nice. I mean, it was mostly the artist and the people, the organizers. It started off a sort of a lot of people, and then it dwindled down.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they were very nice. And even though I was just sort of like an interloper, they kept sort of including me in the conversation. And
Oh, really?
yeah,
That's
but it was how artists talk when artists are together. I mean, the same way the it was. I mean, it was to a certain extent. It was a continuation of the
yeah.
you know.
I mean, I liked everything everybody said. I thought and this, I find this often the case. I found the artists were more understandable to me. I mean, they tend to be, um, they tend to be more direct
Than the than the
than the
theor
theory
than the
than the critics.
yeah.
I mean, I didn't disagree with what
Yes.
they were saying, and they were very very smart. But I
Right.
always like to hear it from the artists because
I agree, and I'm and yes, you have more experience with artists directly. In my experience, when I connect with artists directly, they're very down to earth, and direct. And I appreciate Christopher in particular. He really has a very specificity of vision, and he knows what he's
yeah,
trying. Um, it's I don't know, it's so outside of my sphere, it's so outside of the kind of art I know, I do, I may, but it's just really interesting to hear him. Yeah, I could listen to him talk all
yeah,
night, and so yeah, and so could a bunch of other people, and so we just did, and he just kind of
good, that's great.
riffed and went off, and the other artists too, and yeah, no, it was cool. I never made it to the show. I think it's closing today at the Fry. I made
Yeah.
it to the Fry last Sunday, I think, and
Oh,
it was
just
just at
closing.
5 o'clock as they were closing, and so and
Yeah,
then I could yesterday the protest, it was a big protest, and it went on and on. There were
oh,
speakers,
it's
and
very important. That's real
so
important.
yeah, no, so it was that's fine. But I checked out the virtual. I checked it out online, and
Yeah, I'd
he
like to see
included.
his work's interesting.
Hmm.
I like. I mean, both of them actually. They're
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So that was good.
yeah.
I should do more of that. There's a lot. There's a lot that you can do, but I don't know in advance if it's going to be that interesting.
Right. You never know. No, I know, and that I kind of.
So it's an
Uh,
investment issue, time investment.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, the same thing with whether it's the arts or activism, organizing. There, especially in the virtual world, there are things almost every evening that you could do. But then, is it going to be worth your time? Is it the best use of your time? Is it the?
Yeah,
Sometimes you just need to recharge. So.
yeah.
Okay.
What else is happening?
Um.
Is it warm there? We just we this is my first day in shorts.
Okay, it was sunny all day yesterday, as it seemed to be for just based on the pictures in most of the cities where there are protests. So I
Yeah,
mean, if God has an opinion, I think. But no, it was today is very rainy, but that is, I mean, we've already for May had in our first week we already had the average rainfall for May, which is almost 2 inches. We'd already had that in 1 week, and so it's just been very, very rainy, and that's fine. I don't mind it. Some people don't like it. My dogs don't. One of my dogs, Daisy, does not like to go out in the rain, so that means we have to take shorter walks. But then Duke gets stir crazy if we don't take longer walks. So I have to, there's this literal push pull of like
yeah.
he's darting ahead and she's like, but so yeah, that's the only reason I don't like the rain. Other than that, I enjoy the rain. I mean, I moved to the Northwest, both Portland and now Seattle for 20 years, knowing that it was a wet,
You do, yeah, for
gray
sure.
climate, and that's never been a problem for me. But I also like the sunshine. Well, it was very nice that it was sunny. It was not too hot, but it was just perfect yesterday. Um, and then yeah, I don't know what the I don't know what the well, I don't know what the forecast is. What else is going on? Moulin Rouge, the actual the theater, the cabaret theater, not the musical or the Baz Luhrmann movie, but the actual place is being turned into an Airbnb. I don't know if that's right. I don't understand quite how that is, but
It must be. I don't know the building.
right. I don't
I
know
mean,
if the
it was a
theater is still.
windmill. It was a windmill on
Oh,
top, but I don't think it was a real. It was
yeah. I can
like
pay.
it had
Yeah.
a windmill on it because artists painted it from the outside.
Hmm.
So, so that was there as a symbol, and it was a dance hall. So I don't know if somebody just bought they bought the property. Maybe
Yeah.
but there must be some. I mean, the French must have some uh, rules about um, landmark. I think. Well, I don't.
Sure.
Yeah,
No. Sure. Okay. Here is where. Okay. So I am, I am a member of various activist coalitions that are all built around density and the notion of we want denser cities, which means rezoning, which means, basically the single family neighborhoods that I live in now that make up much of Seattle. We want them well, mine has been rezoned now, which is why, because we have the light rail now, you see those
Right.
3 and 4 story buildings down the block. But I, I'm encouraging that everywhere. The flip side of that is I am also a member of Historical Seattle, which is a preservation group.
Yeah.
And so something like the Showbox, which is, all right, here's the thing. Here, and this is a hot take that I probably wouldn't say on my music show, but I'll say on this show. The Showbox is a classic theater that has, it's existed for over 1,000, over 100 years. It's, many great shows have been there, and it's not incredibly acoustic. It's got poles and columns that actually block your view from various spaces. Architecturally, it's not incredibly interesting. There are some elements, but those could easily be removed. Some of the um, moldings and things,
Right.
those kinds of things those can be removed and transferred. So I have been fighting to save the Showbox. I've been part of Save the Showbox. I don't know. I mean, if they
Where
could
is
put,
it?
it's
Where
right downtown. It's right where they could definitely use
do I
housing.
know where it is?
It's
Do
right
I know?
across the street from Pike Place Market. It's literally like
Okay,
right
all right. Then I
downtown.
know what you're talking
It's
about.
like
Yeah.
First and Pike or something like that. I mean,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
if you could put in a tower of low income housing, of senior housing, of mixed use housing, um, you could probably put in a venue in the. I mean, there's a way to do it, but
Well, you could incorporate it,
yeah.
right? You could.
So I'm now I guess the whole point being I'm now rethinking this group that I'm in, because I realize how much now the newsletter reads very differently to me now, because it's this nuance of, we don't want them changing our Seattle too much, and who we are and who our Seattle is. And
Well, that's it. That's the big question, right? Who is the
um,
we? And
but I love architecture, and I mean, the reason I joined the group is still valid. There are buildings I would love to preserve. There are, but not at the sake of housing for all. I mean, that's, so
well, it is not an easy issue because there's also, I mean, there are buildings um, that may have strong emotional value, even from an activist point of view,
hmm
um, that people want to be preserved, not because they're great architecture, but because something happened there or
yes.
somebody lived there of historical importance, right, to one group or another.
Yes, though Seattle has already, because it burned down once, and because it's been reborn several times. Seattleites are actually slightly inured to plaques that state something very important happened on this
Okay,
place, on a really sort of innocuous corner where it's just like
yeah, there's a plaques do the job.
the plaques do the job. But yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, I think that, to me, if you had like an old-fashioned, formally segregated club building downtown
Right,
that was done by some relatively famous architect,
right,
the people who want that preserved
right.
are
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
are the are the uh uh want it preserved for them for
Yeah,
themselves,
yeah,
right?
no, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Their idea of us is
Yeah.
probably white and male, right?
Yeah.
So uh, I don't know it because everybody will have a skin in the game to some degree or another. But
Right.
what
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's difficult. It's a tough one, especially if you're talking about low income housing.
Mm-hmm.
What the I think there's a lot of chicanery that's going on in New York. They try to do this now in Soho
Right.
because, and I think that De Blasio was responsible in the end of the last administration they wanted to allow high-rise development in Soho,
Right.
um, and the excuse was going to be that it would provide low-income housing.
Right.
But when that was drilled down upon by the people who opposed it, the definition of low income was
Oh,
it was really middle class housing and wealthy.
and well, I mean, yes, and so yes, we have. I mean, the median income in Seattle is now $100,000. So
That's the median
that is the
income.
median income for Seattle, and Seattle's not. I mean, we're not the wealthiest city in America by any means. And so, but yeah, so then what qualifies as low income or lower income in that market then? But then they do all sorts of things. So here, what you do is you get zoning rights. You can build additional stories if you agree to include affordable housing or some units of affordable housing. But then what they do is instead of building a mixed use, they actually build the low income housing across town, or
Yeah,
they
yes,
pay for the credits, and whether that housing even gets built, they basically just pay a tax.
they pay.
It's it's
They pay it, whether it's a tax, a bribe, or whatever. It
right. Um, and so yeah, so
they
their
get to do as
expensive
they want.
projects get built and gated and are only for are not the mixed use that they're promised or start off being.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Which doesn't help density or diversity.
right. So Friday the 13th. It was Friday the 13th. Did anything happen? Did you have any other than you? I mean,
No, I got birthday wishes from car dealerships that I
oh
haven't heard from in several years.
yes.
From some very nice people that I hadn't heard from. No, it's interesting that the obviously merchandising systems from car dealerships to Sotheby's all have client management
Yes.
systems now that spit out the birthday. So
So so this is the weirdest one. I'm on Jennifer Lopez, J Lo's mailing list,
oh,
and
great. Yeah.
everything is baby to her. Hey baby, I'm dropping a new single on Friday. Hey baby, and so you get this message. It's very disconcerting. Hey baby, happy birthday, J Lo, and I'm like, it's not really J Lo, but it's you.
Well,
Yeah.
you kind of think it. I mean,
You hope maybe she sits she has her Rolodex and she goes, oh, it's Bob's birthday,
maybe
it's
she
Kiki's birthday,
walks
it's
by her assistant and says, "Let me see today's birthday names. Let me see the."
yeah.
Uh, no,
Right.
I was very interested to hear from you about Stevie Wonder because
I also was. I mean, I guess we're always just listening to Stevie Wonder, but I had just
well,
been
I
listening.
haven't in a long,
Oh,
long time.
okay.
I know I was
Yeah.
driving in, and I was trying to kick MSNBC. I was trying to get off the drug,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Ukraine abortion,
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And so I went to Real Jazz, which is usually modern jazz. It's usually, but occasionally they have even Sinatra or people, Sarah Vaughan singing standards.
Right.
And then I heard, I came in right at the beginning and I thought, and it was people, and I thought, wow, that is an amazing version.
Yeah.
And of course it was Stevie Wonder. It was quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was totally different from Barbara Streisand.
For sure. No. For
But
sure.
it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. Um, Let me see if I can show you. This is funny. This is interesting. So there was a big sale at Christie's on
Mhm.
Thursday night.
Mhm.
Okay. And I mean, it was the usual, I mean, Monets, Picassos, all kinds of things selling for lots of money.
Sure.
Okay. And then there's this painting. I don't know if can you see it?
Oh,
It's
it's the Sugar Shack. The yeah. I know this painting. Yes.
You know the painting, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, lots of people didn't know this
Okay.
painting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Wait, who's the
Ernie
artist?
Barnes,
Run me.
right?
Wait.
So his name is Ernie Barnes.
Yes, Ernie Barnes. Yes. Yeah, yeah.
He
Yes.
was a he was a big ball player,
Right.
and he became a painter when he retired.
Yes.
Sonny, the guy that owned the ball club in New York, introduced him to Grand Central Moderns, which was a very, very serious gallery in the 50s and 60s, and he had
Right.
exhibitions, right? So this painting comes up for sale at $150 to $200,000, right? And it sells for $15 million.
Oh, good. Yes. No, it should.
It
Okay,
sells
first
for
of all, it was on the cover of a Marvin Gaye
yeah,
album, and it was
yeah.
on Good Times, the opening credit of Good Times for like 5 years. How can people not know this paint? And
Well, because they have to be a certain age.
yeah, no, that is true. But also, Ernest Barnes did the art for Good Times. So on the show, Jimmy Walker was supposed to be an artist, and Ernest
Yes.
Barnes did all his. So he did portraits of Esther Roll. He did, so
Yeah.
he did. Yeah, that
And
was his.
apparently he appeared on some early shows.
Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
We lucky we got him. Good Time. I actually really loved Good Times. So no, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's actually a very good painting. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's got. I mean, it's
no, it's a very good painting.
for
And
something that it's an image that it's so over. It's really expressive, and there are actually several versions of it too. There are a couple of versions of it.
probably, yeah, yeah. I
But
don't
yeah.
have the whole catalog entry,
Oh
but
yeah, no, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then tell me about your
some
sale.
young is oh well, uh, it's covered. In other words, it's going to sell.
Right.
It's guaranteed, so it's going to
Okay.
sell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not going to be a disaster. The question is going to be, will it just do okay?
Okay.
Will it do better than okay? Will it do very well?
Right.
So I think it'll probably do better than okay.
Okay.
Even though there were very, very high prices last week at Christie's,
Sure.
but the general feeling is that the cracks are beginning to show. Not just the art market, but the economy, the
Oh
recession,
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
inflation, and people, people who have a lot of money aren't losing it, but they're becoming more cautious. So I think that in retrospect, in other words, looking back from the point of view of this fall, I will have just got in under the wire.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In terms of timing
Yeah.
for actually for the two sales for last November and this May, because I think the art market's in for a rough-ish time.
Sure.
Parts of it, not all
Sure.
of it.
No. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Collapse, but it's been so
Yeah.
puffed up. So yeah, I'm just be happy to get it over with and to get the lawyers out of my life, and yeah, so which won't happen till the end of the year because I
Sure.
still have, I've given some buyers, potential buyers, 180 days to pay, which means they
Yeah.
have 6 months. So
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
pay till the end of the year, but that's okay. If they spend the money, it doesn't make
Sure.
any difference to me. So
Right on.
you know. So yeah, then actually 8 o'clock on Tuesday morning, I is the only time my doctor can see me to start preparing for
Yeah.
my surgery. I have to have a checkup to make sure that I'm
Yeah. Are you still thinking of going to Korea?
well. That would be at the end of August, beginning
Yeah.
of September.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still on the books. I
Mhm.
mean, personally, it depends on if I'm fully mobile and recovered from surgery, which I should be, right? I
Right.
should be 12 weeks, kind of June, July, August. Yeah, it's 12 weeks. So, and if the art fair still happens, because if there's some big COVID outbreak in South Korea,
Right. No. Right. Yeah.
there's always that possibility of art fairs being
Sure.
postponed or canceled
Sure.
because of that. I
Yeah.
mean, like uh, well, Hong Kong art fair is pretty much. I don't think there may never be another one, or not
Oh
not
wow.
not a big international one.
Right. No.
Not
Right.
only because of COVID, but because of the political
Sure.
situation.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so other than next weekend, Beatrice graduates. So I may
Yes.
miss talking to you. I can't believe it. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just time is fleeting. Everybody's grown up, right?
But yeah. No. That's amazing. Congratulations to her. That's awesome. Yeah.
Um, and what else? I don't know. Just
Okay, so your birthday fell on Friday the 13th in 1988, and I know it would have been your 43rd, and I know that because we went to see Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood in you let me take you to a horrible horror movie on your birthday. But we did. We went to see it on the day it came out, which was, and to this day the poster, you can still see promos that say May 13th, this Friday.
and that was the seventh one,
That was the
right?
seventh one, yes. And so yeah, this is the killer with the hockey mask and the machete, and
No,
that
I remember. I maybe the only one I saw.
probably it had a telekinetic girl. She was sort of the main, and so she was, which was interesting only because he's an unstoppable faceless killer, which makes it progressively harder to keep it interesting because he just sort of kills everyone. At least in that one, he had someone who could stand up to him. She had like. And they had, I mean, it's not very realistic, but well, none of it's very realistic. In
I
any event,
I I attempted to watch the last Spider-Man, or the most recent
oh,
Spider-Man.
okay. And yeah,
I watched it.
yeah,
I might as well have been reading Russian. I mean, it was
just
it
elements moving around a
completely
screen.
beyond me. But
Yeah,
I didn't know all the backs. I enjoyed the actors.
sure.
That was about it.
Yeah.
But it was but I kind of felt that about the Matrix when I saw that, the
But
first one.
they're all, well, they're four
Oh,
now, but
I enjoyed it from a design point of view.
yes. But I'm amazed at I thought Marvel the Avengers Endgame was sort of the end of that era, and then they were rebooting, and then you didn't have to know all that. But there's just still you still have to know
Oh, I think you
30
have to know a lot. Yeah.
30 movies of worth of backstory to, and I don't know anything. Yeah, no, I'm the same way.
You've disappeared.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Can you?
I'm still here, but I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you and see you.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Because I didn't touch anything.
Okay.
It says get started, post attendee Zoom. I'm going to try something,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah,
Are you there?
I'm still here.
Oh, that's interesting because I'm back to, I'm going to try and log in again. Unless you want to just keep talking.
Well, you can go ahead and log in. You go ahead and try and log in again.
Because I shouldn't have a, oh, is this on yours?
Well, yes.
Okay. So, but it isn't even 40 minutes, I don't think.
I have a thing saying that there's 5 minutes left, but I don't know why it would have fallen off your screen. You should. I mean,
I'm
well,
trying to launch meeting. It's not doing it. That's weird.
that's okay. I mean, maybe
Oh, I'm sorry, I wanted to see you. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So okay, the other news, which is kind of interesting, is that I'm on the nominating committee for the NIFA board,
Yes.
and Thursday morning, we had a really, really amazing conversation with a guy. He's probably in his 60s. He's a member of the Lenape Nation.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
He's been an artist and an educator and a curator, and he grew up somewhere in Oklahoma, but he came back to the homeland, which he considers Manhattan to be the homeland,
Mm-hmm.
and has been working here for 15 or 20 years on various different Native American related projects, including with the Metropolitan Museum. And he was
Yeah,
very, very, very interesting, very smart,
right on.
and I think it's going to be a great addition. And it was just very interesting to hear him talk about. He said 2% of the population of New York is uh, Native American,
Okay.
and there are probably more Lenape now in New York than anywhere else. But
Huh.
it's just very interesting.
That
So
is interesting.
yeah, so I better say goodbye,
Yeah.
Bob.
Okay.
I'll let you know how the thing goes tomorrow. All right,
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you're interested.
Have a good week. I love you,
A
Dad.
great week. I
Happy
love you,
birthday.
Bob. Be well.
Okay.
Okay. Take
Talk to you
care.
soon. Bye.